Today I want to talk about in-depth my ingredients cake.
Why do you refer to them as one cake?
Okay, you're right. Okay, so there's giant eggs, a bowl of cocoa, and a block of butter. If you think about it, I could cake more ingredients. Cake a tiny bowl of salt and a tiny bowl of baking soda. So yeah, let's get into this total cakeception. So we are starting with the egg cakes, and I want these eggs to look like eggs inside and out, kind of like Walter the watermelon cake, so that when I cut the egg, there's a yolk inside. So what I had to figure out is the best way to do this. I tried it 3 different ways on camera to prove to you how much testing and experimenting there is sometimes in the world of cake decorating. Somewhere in all those eggs, there's gonna be a couple of good eggs. So I have silicone molds that are shaped like eggs. Then I also have silicone molds that are half spheres, and 2 of them put together would make a whole yolk. For all 3 methods, you're going to pipe your vanilla cake batter into the egg silicone molds. So all 3 of them need batter. And then the first option to create the yolk is to bake yellow dyed vanilla batter in the sphere pans. The trickiest part about coloring cake batter is you can't play with it as long, because at the end of the day it is batter, so the more you overwork it, especially at the end, the more you overwork the eggs. Here I am talking about egg yolks. Pre-bake them, level them in the sphere pans, and then place a baked yolk into a raw cake and bake it. The second method is to create frozen cake batter yolks and place them into the egg cake batter. And thank you, Helena, for that. Helena's very subtle behind the camera. She just goes like this. The third method, which in my opinion works the best and gives you the most cake assurance for your money, is to bake the vanilla batter in the egg silicone mold on its own, bake the dyed yellow vanilla batter in the sphere silicone molds on their own, and then use a melon baller or a coffee scoop, something that's a similar spherical shape to the yolk, to dig out some cake, make a little secret chamber, and then you can pop the yolk right in. And the reason why I say, in my opinion, that one worked the best, that's the only way that you can maintain control over where the yolk lies in the cake. You can try them all, but in my opinion, the pre-baked egg and yolk worked the best. So for my bowl of cocoa cake, I am going to bake chocolate cake in a bowl. Yes, you can bake in a stainless steel bowl, so just make sure it's high grade. So keep the cake hump once you have leveled your bowl. Keep the cake hump once you have... Keep the cake hump.
Okay.
I feel like I need a whiteboard behind me. And now we're gonna create layers. So the same way that we layer a normal round cake, we're gonna do this for the sphere. That's why you need to flip it over so the flat part is on the bottom. Now these layers of a sphere are going to be thicker than they normally are in a regular cake, and that's fine. And at the top, which is really the bottom of your bowl, you'll wanna cut a little bit of cake off. You just want it to be a little bit flat, like a bowl would be in most cases, so that when we flip it over, it stays in place. It's not teeter-tottering. Now, moving on to the butter cake, I would have just made a block of butter. We just thought like the thumbnail would be weird. I just made a buttery pound cake for the butter cake. Really simple, 4 ingredients for my butter cake. We'll put a link to the recipe, it's on the blog. All I did was bake a square cake, and what's most important for the butter cake is that we get nice rectangles of the same size to build up this block. You're gonna want to level the square cake, flip it over, remove all the caramelization from the bottom, remove the caramelization from the sides, and then you wanna create 3 even rectangular layers to build up our block of butter. So now we have all of our cakes prepared. You know what it's time for. Simple syrup. Oh, little Squeeze and Sir Squeeze have not been unpacked. I think I hear them screaming. I don't know if you noticed, but it's a little different in here. It almost feels like we're in a different room.
You can use flavored simple syrup. So in this case, you have butter syrup.
Chocolate simple syrup. Egg simple syrup. Ew. No, in this case, it's simple syrup.
Basic syrup.
Yeah, no, it's not basic. It's very good and everyone should know about it. All the cakes are simple syruped and now it's time to fill and stack these cakes. For the eggs, I'm going to put a thin layer of buttercream on the flat side of one half of the egg and then sandwich it together. And next I want to crumb coat the outside. I end up picking them up to make sure that I can fully ice all around. And then you'll want to put these in the fridge to chill. For the bowl cake, we are going to build it upside down. It will make life a lot easier. So you're leaving it upside down as it was. And then I filled and stacked it with chocolate buttercream. I would have filled and stacked this bowl with chocolate ganache because it's more like Dutch processed cocoa, very dark, rich chocolate. However, for the sake of the video, I decided to fill the bowl with chocolate buttercream, and this is because you need the contrast when I cut the cake for you to recognize that it's cake. Whereas if it's dark chocolate cake, dark chocolate ganache, cocoa, you really won't see that. So for my butter cake, I'm going to simply fill it and stack these butter pound cake layers with my butter colored buttercream. Can we talk about my butter colored buttercream? I feel like me coloring the buttercream could have been an episode in itself. Whenever you're trying to color something, if you can have the real object that you're mimicking beside you, that is the best way to do it. Sometimes the most subtle color is the hardest to mimic. If you just want to make straight up yellow that looks like a crayon, you can make that all day long. But when you want it to be more nuanced, soft, and gentle, that's when it's hard, because that's when often you have to play with the colors and definitely use more than one. I'm filling the 3 layers of butter pound cake with my butter colored buttercream. There's a lot of butter in that sentence. And then I'm going to crumb coat the outside and place the cake in the fridge to chill. Let's go back to our first set of ingredients, which are the egg cakes. They are crumb coated, the crumb coat is chill, and now I'm going to ice them once again with a small spatula, vanilla buttercream, and then I'm gonna use my invention. Very important that the eggs maintain, what did I learn in Walter? Their ovoid shape. That is a 3-dimensional oval. So my invention, which I did not invent, I'm being sarcastic, is just a square of acetate. And why that's perfect is you can bend it in your hand. It will work like a spatula, but help it to maintain its curve. Now I'm going to ice my bowl cake. I do want to place a small board on the top of the cake, which will be the bottom of the cake. So I just cut out a little bit of foam core to the size, stick it to the top of the cake, and now I'm going to ice all around the outside with chocolate ganache. And yes, I'm going to use my invention again to keep the bowl really nice and smooth. So now the butter cake is chilled. Now I'm going to ice the butter cake. So what's interesting is I want this to be nice and square, but I need it to be perfectly imperfect, if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. It can't be sharp. Actually, you know what one of my pet peeves is? When I used to go to the grocery store and buy tons of butter, as I do. Shout out to all the bakers now who are buying butter, because it is not, and eggs, not cheap. It's like going to the champagne section of the store. I even had a preferred like butter bag so I could like lay all the blocks in. I'm not crazy, I just like control. But when I would get like a checkout girl who would just be like, and wait, I gotta shout out like all the Americans watching, because I know that your blocks don't come like ours. They come in 4 sticks. I need this butter block cake to have the markings of that foil we were just talking about. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of parchment paper and fold it just like the foil is folded over butter. You know how on the sides it's like almost like an envelope? So I'm gonna make all those folds. I need the cake to be chilled enough that the imprint won't run too deep, but not so chilled that I can't make an imprint, because parchment paper is light after all, and I don't want to have to press so hard that now you're seeing my fingertips in the butter. You know what I like about the butter? You know, like when I cake the Popeyes chicken sandwich, people are always like, oh my gosh, it must be so weird to see that and then eat it in its cake. But what I love about the butter is it looks like butter and there's so much butter in it. I'm so proud of the fact that I dyed that buttercream exactly the color of butter. Okay, so we're moving on to fondant. First, I need to cover my egg cakes. This is really simple. I'm going to roll out some white fondant. I do want to roll it a bit on the thin side, and then I'm going to drape it over the eggs. And I really, really want to make sure to smooth it to keep that smooth ovoid. Just trim away the excess, but leave a bit extra down around the bottom. And then you want to pick up the egg carefully and smooth the fondant underneath. Now, normally when I do this, I'll rest my cake on a flour sponge, but I don't want to do that with the egg because as soft as the sponge is, it does leave a bit of texturing on the fondant, and eggs don't really have texture. So the eggs are covered. It is time to cover the bowl. The bowl is where you have the most freedom. A bowl can look like many different things, so you can have fun with this. What else could you do? Guys, give me a hand here. What do you eat out of a bowl?
Crackers.
You eat a whole bowl of crackers?
Queso dip.
Don't put queso dip on your cake.
Cereal?
Grapes.
Oh, cereal! Grapes!
Yeah, you should do a novelty bunch of grapes.
No, I've done that. You see how pissed I just got? Do you know how long? Look, my palms just got sore thinking about rolling the grapes. The bowl has a rim, so the first thing I'm going to do is flip the bowl over, so now it's right side up for a bowl, and then I'm gonna roll out some more of my hot pink fondant and cut out a circle that fits on top with an inner circle removed. So it's like a thick ring of pink fondant that I'm gonna lay on top of the cake. And now I can create my cake mountain. I'm just using the cake hump from the bowl cake. I used circle cutters to cut out circles. This is probably just because I wanted it to look neat. You could also just break up the hump and start to pile it on top of the bowl and glue the pieces together with ganache. And then you also want to ice the outside of that whole mountain with ganache. And this way when we add the cocoa, it will sort of fall along that mountain, but it's not just a pile of cocoa underneath. Adding the cocoa to the cake is, in my opinion, the hardest part of this cake. What I don't want is to get cocoa all over the surface of the cake because it's very dark, unlike icing sugar, and I don't want the beautiful melamine bowl to look like it's stained. What I'm going to do is create a template. I think really I just wanted an excuse to create a template. Are there any cakes on the channel that you want to know more detail about? Let me know. I'm curious what people are gonna say. With these kind of complicated cakes, there's always pretty much, a lot of information that's left on the cutting room floor. So that's why we're doing these revisits, and I've chosen the cakes that I'm the most proud of. What should I do a revisit for next? I know what I wanna do, but I wanna know what you want to see me do. So I will see you next week